Hello guys, welcome back. In our last video, we saw how to redirect standard inputs, standard outputs, and standard error to a test file. Now in this video, I will also give you some additional examples on how to redirect outputs, standard outputs to a file. Now this is my terminal. If I ls, you can see that we have about 4 folders here and a file. Now inside of this file, let's delete this file. I don't want this file to exist right now, so I'm deleting it. Let's ls again. Okay, now we have these 4 folders. You can see when we ls, the 4 folders displayed on our screen. Now we don't want that to happen. Okay, what we want is the display to be inside of a file. If you followed my last video, this shouldn't be very strange to you. Now let's create the file back. Oh, okay, we have to do ls, not cat. We have to ls, then hit. Now let's cut the file .txt. Now what this does is that it lists everything and give it to this txt file. So it redirects the standard output to be this txt file. So inside this txt file, you will see those folders here. You will see it inside of this txt file. Okay, so you have redirected the standard output from being the monitor to being a test file. Now the operator that I want to talk about is the double greater than sign. Now this double greater than sign is used to append values when you want to add something into an already existing file. Okay, you will use the double greater than sign. For example, when we cutted this txt.file.txt, it gave us this, right? Now let us use this operator. Let's do ls, then the operator I'm talking about is 2 greater than sign. Okay, so we now channel it to that same file, that file that has this txt, that file that has this folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. So I want to add this again. I want to duplicate this again. So when you run this code, it's going to copy everything, these guys, and also append it down the line. So it's going to have another folder at the end of this 3. So let's watch and see what we're going to happen. Then let's go back and cut the file. Now you can see now you have folder 1, folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. Now at the end of this folder 3, you also have this txt file. Then you have folder 1, folder 2, folder 3. So what this 2 greater than sign does is that it appends. Append means joining to an existing value. When you want to join two things together, you append without erasing or overriding the already existing data inside the file. Okay, so this is how to append files to or contents, whatever you want to add extra into a file. You use these 2 double greater than sign. Now let's proceed to more advanced usage of this redirecting standard input, output, and errors. We have to remove that file that we created, that's file.txt. We have to remove it because we are going to recreate it. Now we have removed it. The next thing for us to do is to recreate it, like add something to it. Let me use v to add something to it, which is file.txt. Okay, so Let me add something like ball zip cat goat fish X-Men X-Men spider python guy. Okay, let's save this and quit. Now let's cut into this file. Now you can see that the file has ball, zip, cat, goat, fish, X-Men, spider, and python guy. Now I'm going to use the sorting function or the sorting command to sort this ball or this content inside. Then after that, I'm going to send the sorted results into a file. Instead of it being displayed on our screen, I'm going to send it into a file. Now let me come again with this task, what we are trying to achieve. Now this file.txt already has some content inside. I'm going to use the input redirection. That means we are going to feed our program the sorting command from our test file. The values that the sorting command that is going to use is going to be from our test file. It's not going to be from our keyboard. That means we have redirected the standard input to be our test file. Now when we have done that, the output, after it's been sorted out, the output shouldn't be displayed on our screen. No, we want it to be on in a file again that we are going to create when it has already sorted all these things out. Let us go into the command line. Let's type sort. Then the redirection of standard input is this less than sign. What is actually feeding this sort values is this file that is feeding this sort values. Instead of us to type the values that we want to sort here, this file will feed this sort values. Now let's type file.txt. Then after sorting, we don't want to display on the screen. Assuming we want to display on the screen, we would have put something like greater than sign then 1, but we don't want that. We want it to be saved inside of a file. If we want to save it inside of a file, we put this greater than sign, then create the file sorted file.txt. Let's run this command. Okay, now let's cut this sorted file.txt. Now you can see that our contents here has been sorted. Before it was ball. Yeah, ball is the first one. Now the second one was zip, but here it is cat. So you can see it sorted the inputs that we gave it through a file, not through the keyboard. So we redirected the standard inputs to be a file. After sorting it, we also redirected the standard output to be a file, not our monitor. Okay, so when we cut the sorted file, it gave us a sorted list. So guys, these are many more how to actually manipulate standard input and output in Linux operating system. The next one that we are going to talk about is pipe. Now, pipe helps to combine two or more commands and are used as input concepts in a command. Now we use more than one pipe in command so that the output of one command before a pipe acts as an input for other commands after the pipe. So let's take a look with an example. We are going to still maintain our file. Let's cut our file. I don't know why I keep typing kit. Okay, so we can see that our file.txt are still unsorted. Now remember the topic that we are talking about here right now. We are talking about pipe. Pipe is used to combine two or more commands together for standard input and output. For example, if we want to sort this test file right now using pipe, how are we going to do it? This is how we are going to do it. We write cat, then our file name with the extension, then this command. This means pipe. You are piping this output. You know, cat, then the file name prints out something, the content of the file to you. Okay, now with this output, you are now passing it to another command we are going to write here as an input. As the definition of pipe stands, that you have to use the output of one command to be a source of input to another command. So the source of output of this cat file.txt is the input of this sort that we are going to put here. So all of these values here is going to enter into this sort. It's going to print out on the screen for us. We are not passing it into any file, but if we are to redirect it into a file, we now put this, then type the name of the file. But I don't want to redirect it into any file. I want it to print with our standard output. Okay, so now the output of this cat file.txt is being supplied to this sort function or this sort command here to sort out whatever that is inside of this file.txt. Now we have used two commands here, 1 and 2, and what made it possible is this pipe, this line here, this straight line here, which is called pipe. So the output of one command is an input of the next command. Now let's run this. You can see it has sorted out our file. This is how it was before it was unsorted, but now it has been sorted. Okay, so this sign here, this operator here is called pipe, and this is how you pipe in all of any argument. For instance, if you want to pipe in another argument, now you now hold your shift key to okay, let me go back. You now add this line. When you add this line, the next thing is for you to put another command like uniq. Okay, now what this does is that the output of this is the input of this. Now the output of this is also the input of this. Now this will now print it out to the screen. Let's try. Okay, now this unique here, or will I call this unique, means that it will remove any duplicates. If there is any duplicates in our file, it's going to remove it. Let's add something, a duplicate. Let me use V. Okay, so let's add fish, 2 fish. I love fish. Then let's add spider. Oh no, let's add goat. Now you can see there is goat here, there is goat here, there is fish here, there is fish here. So we have 2 duplicate entries. Now let's save this file. Let's rerun our code. Now you can see that the two, okay, first of all, let's cut our file so that you will see the duplicates. You can see the two duplicates, which are fish and goats, which are here also. Now let's run this code. I want to show you the work of this. Okay, so now you can see we only have one fish, one goat, and one fish. Okay, the duplicate has been removed. So what this does is that it gets the unsorted file or data, pass it into the sort command. The sort command will sort it. When it's done, it will now pass it into this uniq, maybe unique, yeah, the short form unique, and this will now remove all the duplicates, and then it will print it out on our screen. With this pipeline, we can write as many commands as we want. So this is where we stop for now. In the next video, we will continue with more advanced topics.